Hey everyone, this is Laura Gadenik with Laura Gadenik Astrology, and I'm here to give you the astrology for the weeks of October 16th through the 29th, 2023. Before I get started, I just want to remind you to like, subscribe, comment if you'd like to. I always like knowing how the astrology is hitting you and your thoughts around the astrology, and it helps my channel to grow. Just wanting to give an update about this channel. So I am also a therapist in my other job, and I would love to, and have been trying to start incorporating more of a therapeutic lens into astrology and into how we can utilize the astrology, manage the astrology, work with the astrology, so that we can have more agency over ourselves, our lives, and our world. So just kind of wanting to give an update there. So we're just coming off of an eclipse that happened in Libra. So we're in the middle of eclipse season. The next eclipse is on October 28th. That one will be in Taurus, and that one will be the final eclipse that we have in Taurus. We've been having eclipses in Taurus for the last 18 months or so. So this is a wrapping up story. What are you wrapping up with regards to Taurian themes? That could be, Taurus in general is a sign about money, food, agriculture, nature, your experience in nature, your body, your sensual experience in your body, land, and also whatever house that you have Taurus on the cusp of. That's where these eclipses have been happening, and that's where you will find you've been experiencing most of these changes. So final eclipse in Taurus on October 28th, and we just had an eclipse in the sign of Libra on Saturday. I think that was the 14th, yeah. And we're starting a new series of eclipses in the sign of Libra and then in Aries as well. So we're in the midst of deep changes, letting go of how we are doing in relationships. Libra is a sign about relationships and things like judgment. How do you make decisions? How do you make judgments? How do you make decisions and weigh options? But also looking at the house where you have Libra on the cusp. That's where you're going to be seeing most of these changes occurring. What are you releasing with regards to those houses, those house topics? Okay, so Thursday the 19th, we have Mercury conjoining the Sun in Libra. And so this might give some insight or clarity around what this eclipse has been about for you. What has come up? What are you letting go of or releasing? What are you changing? So there's going to be clarity, some realizations, maybe enlightening conversations or news or messages. Mercury is the planet of the mind and communication. And when any planet comes into the heart of the sun, that planet's significations gets like a special light. The sun represents light, like making things more bright and clear, and it represents our consciousness as well. So that is happening on the 19th. Really good time to do some reflection, maybe do some journaling. There's a lot of good times for that over the next couple of weeks. Friday the 20th, Mercury makes a square to Pluto, and the sun will follow this on Saturday, I believe, Saturday the 21st. But so with Mercury making a square to Pluto, Pluto's a planet about what's beneath the surface of things, what hasn't been talked about, what is needing to see the light or have fresh air, and it's going to be around mercurial theme. So once again, Mercury is the planet about the mind, communication. So this could involve some intense conversations. This could be about discussing terms and agreements, getting to the bottom of something, getting real, being honest. All the while, Mercury in Libra likes to stay polite and tactful and, keeping the other person's perspective in mind. So that's a little bit where the tension might come in. It's like, how do we get to the bottom of something, and how are we honest and real while being nice and polite and staying true to those Mercury and Libra values. And like I said, the sun's making the same aspect, sun square Pluto on the 21st on Saturday. So same energy, except for Venus is making a beautiful trine to Jupiter on this day as well, which I think can really help the energy in the situation. This might bring some healing in relationships. We have the two benefics, Venus and Jupiter. These are two planets that bring positive things, opportunity, healing, connection, joy. So this feels like there might be some healing in relationships, or perhaps opportunities or forgiveness, or coming to some sort of agreement that feels really celebratory. And of course, you want to look to the houses where you have Venus and Jupiter. So Venus is in Virgo, so whatever house that is for you. And then thinking about Jupiter in Taurus. So these two houses, there's something positive or opportunistic going on between these two house themes. And then same with Sun and Mercury in Libra. What house is that in for you, right? That's right where the eclipse just happened this past Saturday. So whatever house that is for you, there's tension between that part of your chart and the part of your chart that where Pluto is currently transiting, and that's Capricorn. So thinking about Libra house, Capricorn house, what's the tension going on there? And how do we smooth out rough edges? Okay, Sunday the 22nd, Mercury heads into Scorpio. And then immediately makes a trine to Saturn, a planet about responsibility, duty, commitment, longevity, hard work. This feels like being very serious-minded, thinking about the long term, the plan, sustainability. It's kind of like a one-track mind or focus. It's very productive, so good time to plan or think about the future. And then on Monday the 23rd, the sun heads into Scorpio, so Libra season is over, heading into the darker part of the year, or a darker part of the year. Scorpio is the time of year where, at least in the northern hemisphere, everything has gone to seed and is dying. And so there are themes around death, around decay, around things having not lasted. And hence we have Halloween holiday during this time of year. It's a good time to honor the dead. It's a good time for grief, going inside and tending to your own grief or what has been lost in your own life, and doing some ceremony or rituals or, whatever that's different for everyone, whatever that is for you, around these themes around death, loss, grief, transformation, death and rebirth. So yeah, Scorpio season will begin on the 23rd. And as soon as the sun enters Scorpio, making the same trine to Saturn that Mercury did. So really from Sunday the 22nd through Tuesday, or maybe even Wednesday, so the 24th, 25th, there's this energy of productivity, work, responsibility, duty, long-term planning. So it's a good time to use the energy for those purposes. And then on Saturday the 28th, we have that eclipse, like I mentioned, eclipse 5 degrees of Taurus. This is the final one. We're wrapping something up here. On the same day, we have Mercury and Mars in Scorpio making an opposition to Jupiter, which means that Mercury and Mars are going to be conjoining around the same degree the next day on the 29th. So we're going to really feel this energy the 28th and the 29th. So Mercury and Mars together can be a bit rough sometimes. Mercury, once again, communication and the mind. Mars likes to cut things, sever, and go straight after something. So that can be a little tricky with communication, right? There can be this sense of maybe saying something you didn't mean to say, or being very severe with your words, or cutting, and it can be really hurtful for another person receiving your words. So being really mindful around communication on these days. On anger, are you noticing anger inside your body? Where is that happening? Looking into resources like nonviolent communication could be really useful, using I statements. So like, I feel blank, state a feeling, not a judgment. There's two different things. I feel angry when, and then stating like an observation, when I see dishes in the sink or something like that. Yeah, so a good day to look into resources like nonviolent communication. And Jupiter, these two making an opposition to Jupiter, a planet about peace, abundance, good fortune. This could help. This could help situations. However, the opposition can sometimes bring out more of the negative qualities of a planet. So Jupiter, some of the more negative qualities of Jupiter can be arrogance, can be making really big statements that maybe big promises that you can't keep, or big statements or big declarations that aren't reflective of the situation, and it might be kind of drastic or dramatic or untruthful, and maybe even accidentally so. So yeah, being mindful of that, of promises you can't keep or don't mean, or biting words, or but we want to use the energy, because Mars, Mercury can be very useful for being very clear and direct, which is useful. We want to be clear and direct in our communications often, maybe not all the time, right? When, like, if Mercury is in a trine with Neptune, the planet about dreams and poetry and spirituality, that's more of a time to not be direct, right? Like lean into more poetic means of communication. However, often it's very useful to be direct. And so Mars, Mercury brings that energy of being clear, knowing what you want, knowing what you need to say, but doing so in a kind way is often the best route. Okay, so that is the astrology for the next couple weeks. We have some pretty tense moments. We have some good moments. All astrology signatures can be useful when used well, or when worked with appropriately. So we're never at the mercy, so to speak, of transits, although we can't always control what happens to us. We can always control how we respond, or maybe I shouldn't use never always. We can often control how we respond, or that's what we can at least work on. So that's what I want to offer in giving astrological updates, is what we can control and what we can work on, and what is in our control. So I'm available for readings. If that interests you, please reach out, consultation@lauragdanek.com. Otherwise, I'll be back in a couple of weeks with another astrological update.